This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. You can follow the show on, what does that mean? On Twitter and Instagram, at Frank on the Radio. Or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website. And will you follow the show like people used to follow the carnival when I was a kid?
Yeah.
People just walked behind it for miles.
Well, I followed the bear briefly.
Oh, did you?
The Hofmeister bear.
Oh, yeah. How did that go? Was he wearing a silk bomber jacket and a
Yellow
big
silk
and a
bomber
pork pie hat?
Oh, brilliant times.
Shades.
With large, hairy legs.
There were
Yes.
different times, though, weren't
Don't
there?
put yourself down.
Truthfully, there was less to follow then.
The wash, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, but people, they don't have carnivals go through the town anymore, do they?
Oh, I
It used to
don't.
be Carnival Day every summer when people were like, those big heads that people used to
Oh,
have.
yeah.
I think it was a drug that went wrong. No, it was, people used to do those big papier-mâché heads and wear those, and there'd be a marching band. And locals would follow them for like 4 or 5 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Dogs, that's
Something
a
to
dog.
do, wasn't it?
Dog,
Well, the
kid on a bike, all following
I
them
remember the
along.
big heads from TFI Friday. Were they similar to that?
They weren't
Design?
that sophisticated, but more grotesque, which is what I always like in a public celebration.
Okay.
Hey, now that I'm back, I've had a little look through the text messages and emails that the show, well, mainly the emails, I'm not going to lie,
Welcome
that happened on Friday. They come in, they just sat there
yes.
waiting for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I found one that's got something of a grumble about you, Frank.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of praise for your touring.
Grumble, groan.
Here's your
What was
grumble.
that? Can I ask, what was that from? Used to be someone's catchphrase.
Was it?
I think it might have been the
Yes.
Grumbleweeds. Do you remember them? Like a
Yeah, they could have-
comedy group.
Spent a bit longer on that catchphrase. What are we called? What's our catchphrase?
Grumble, groan. I think Ross Abbott was a grumbleweed.
Was he?
I think that's where he began.
Oh.
Anyway, there'll be more from Frank Skinner's showbiz history tomorrow night.
Can
on
I just
Radio
say,
4.
to give you an idea, the magic doesn't just start when we go on air, because not 10 minutes ago, Frank was singing a Terry Scott song called Brother.
That's true. My brother. Anyway,
So we've had an email. Morning, Frank Cochrane and the Dean Meister. Whilst looking forward to seeing Frank in Newcastle in the very near future, I was disappointed to receive an email this week stating the show started time. Stating the show start time as 8 p.m. This leads me to believe that Frank has slipped back into the stronghold of the oppressive 12ths. I myself shall be leaving the house at 7:17 p.m, fighting the good fight. And then there's a little praise which I will remove, and that's from Geordie Steve.
to be honest, I've been regularly going on stage at, I think it's 8:47.
8. Oh, okay.
Oh,
right.
So
that's late.
That's not
Support
so bad.
But
act.
cabaret.
Yeah.
So is
doing
it support act interval?
Support act interval, me.
Right.
That's the
You see,
thing.
I like that, and that's you're doing nights.
Yeah, I am basically on the night shift.
That's what my great-great-grandfather Minor said to my father when he was presenting an arts show. When he came back late, he said, "You on nights, mate?"
Used to be a big discussion about people being on nights or
Yeah.
not on.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
Frank, can
is
I say we've
anyone
got
on nights
someone
or-
coming over, especially from Germany, Alan Siemens.
Somebody's coming to our house. Carry
Well, I
on.
don't know about that,
Yeah.
because you haven't spoken to Kath about this. But Alan is travelling over, especially all the way
From
from
Germany.
Cologne,
That's it.
my kind of man, and his girlfriend, great, knows that he's a huge fan, and she got him tickets for the show in Worthing tonight. So
He's not
Isn't
coming
that
over
nice?
just for that.
yeah,
No, he can't be
he
coming over.
is.
If I was the sort of person who said, no pressure then, I would say, no pressure then. But happily, if I was that sort of person, of course, I wouldn't be doing this show. I'd be on Capital.
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you were, we wouldn't be doing this.
no,
show.
you wouldn't even have me in your life. Let's face it. So, I know you are at very high standards.
We've got strict rules
no
over here.
pressure then.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
You mentioned Cologne there.
I did.
The guy came over from Cologne.
Alan Siemens is on his way over now.
Yeah, make the most of it, Alan. That might all stop. Halloween.
Thank you.
I was in Cologne once. I was filming, and on the Sunday morning, I got up to go to Mass. I was alone, none of the crew shared.
Rock and roll.
And
Rock
it
and
was very
roll.
quiet. I was going to like a 7 o'clock Mass, so I could get it in before the filming thing. And I crossed a road towards this. Someone had given me a map at the hotel, and I heard something along the lines of "Achtung, Achtung," and it's, I looked around. I thought there'd be a comic book German soldier there, and it was a German policeman, and I hadn't waited for the green man, and not only could I not see any traffic, I couldn't hear any traffic in Cologne at all. It was absolutely silent. And he came over, started telling me off in German. I explained I was English, so then he told me off in English that I had to wait for the green man.
I hope he said papers, please.
It was along those lines. Papers.
He sounds like what we used to call a Jobsworth.
Well, I was telling a friend of mine
Do we still say
came
Jobsworth?
over this week. Kelvin, who's a friend of mine, who's a
Kelvin
poet.
Mackenzie.
He came over for he's not a published poet. I'd be surprised to hear that. So I went to this poetry reading, and we were sitting, and I this story, he told me a story that happened to him in Brussels about the same thing.
Oh, really?
So, you know.
So it's sort of
Bureaucrats.
so they have strict rules on jaywalking.
Oh, yeah, but really, I mean,
Which we don't
honestly,
tend to have in this country, really.
No.
It's not policed, is it?
well, you wouldn't think there's no cars anywhere near, but I'll still wait for the green man.
No. Well, you're not fined here, as I think you are. You are in America, aren't you?
But, you know, maybe we could learn from those people.
Yeah.
Can I just say something, please?
Jerome K. Jerome, in his book Three Men on a Bommel, which is in Germany, said that he watched a German child walk 200 yards down a road full of overhanging fruit to buy fruit. And he said that was the difference between us and them. When I say them, I mean the Germans.
Oh, yeah.
Here you go.
Can I say something?
snapshot
I'm
into
Say something.
absolutely
German feelings of economy
knackered.
there.
My eyes.
Can you say that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you're
Hold
allowed to
on.
say it.
Are you?
Of course you're allowed. What a
you checked
strange
the manual?
challenge. Of course you can
I'm
say
looking
it.
at I'm worried about the testicular
It's got nothing
aspect.
to do with
Yeah.
that. It's got nothing to do with that. It's to do with the...
Well, I don't know. I can't find it in the
It's a
manual.
loophole.
Right, well, while you wait to find some crude etymology, my neighbours, I've had it. I've absolutely had it.
Oh dear.
The music started at 4.
Oh.
Come on now.
Ah, no.
A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Rita's what I need.
That's
now,
great.
Why
That
are
is-
you playing that at 4 a.m? It's not like the party's started and it's all
Yeah.
sexy time. I mean, was he seducing someone to that?
If you're going to keep someone awake at 4 o'clock, it should be like, oh yeah, no, man, forward,
Exactly.
Bada Francine.
Yeah.
I expected a bit of
Have a little.
I thought maybe Rammstein, and then Frank.
Oh, I've got to remind me about that. Remind me about
Can you
Rammstein.
put Rammstein on hold? Then, after a little
Again.
bit of readers work, I thought, oh, great. I rested my head. I thought, oh, I'll get to sleep. Poor Ray, he's got bags under his eyes like a cartoon dog this morning. Then I hear, shake it off, shake it off.
Good song.
Taylor Swift.
Yes, yes.
And
But,
then Carly Simon's
But you know,
You're So Vain.
Hate has got to hate.
Yeah.
Can't get
And
around
boy,
that.
do I hate this morning.
He's-
You're So Vain.
You're so vain.
I think that was aimed at me.
You walk in
But
to
why
the
would you be
party.
playing You're
You think
So
this song is
Vain?
about you?
And I genuinely do think that song was about me.
Okay.
Okay?
I think Beatty is the common theory. Warren Beatty. Not Beatty, played by Maureen Lipman in the...
Did she admit recently who it was?
I don't... Maybe
Maybe it's
she
about
did.
my neighbour.
This-
Anyway,
this
the
sounds
partying,
odd.
I've had it up to here. But, I mean, should I be grateful that it's not Rammstein? And what do I do? What do I do to alert them to this? I mean, hey, you've just done it.
Well, I went round when I was living in a flat. Someone was playing music really loud in the early. You've got to pick your target. You don't want to go around someone's house and be very badly beaten up. But I went around. I didn't actually know who lived there, but I decided to risk it.
For a biscuit.
I see Al's laughing because you think I wouldn't even worry about that.
I would though.
Al, can you come round for me, please?
But I went round someone's house and I went to their flat and I pressed the doorbell and they opened the door and during the entire conversation, I never stopped pressing the doorbell. So the ringing of the just went throughout the conversation.
Right.
I felt that helped. It's like underlining.
Right, you at my gaff in 4 hours.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Oh, someone's been in touch about Neighbours. I mean, this is a big thing. The music of the Neighbours.
Music of the
Everybody
neighbours.
needs good neighbours.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right, Jason Donovan. Nugget actually says
Written by?
what? Nugget?
No, the neighbours.
Oh,
thing.
Tony Hatch.
Tony Hatch and Jackie Trent, I think, together.
I apologise for not giving Jackie her propers.
Yeah, well,
I
that's how
think
women
Tony
have
took
it. It's
it.
in society. They're all. Oh, sorry, everyone.
You say it, Frank. Tell them.
I think Tony took care of her propers. Nugget says it sounds as if Emily was rather lucky. At least Emily's neighbour played a variety of songs. Admittedly, they were pretty naff and far too loud, but at least there was some variety. Back when my now wife and I were courting, her neighbour regularly played Van Morrison's Brown Eyed Girl non-stop, blasting through the wall of the terraced house.
Oh.
It used to be one of my all-time favourite songs, but that woman...
Oh, that woman I love. I hope that's in block capital.
I know it was a woman because I did knock on the door on a few occasions to ask her to turn the volume down and change the record, to no avail. In the end, we brought
I
our
don't
wedding
know,
date
I don't
forward
know, no
and
avail.
moved into a marital home as a result of it. You don't know what, sorry?
I don't know. When he said I've asked her to change it to No Avail, it's great if she'd have gone back in and played a heavy metal song called No Avail. That would have made life sweet. No, it's terrible, isn't it? I've had a few of them.
I'm broken.
Oh.
It's broken me, Frank.
I had a neighbour, and
These
I
people
went
have broken
round.
me.
He had a Great Dane, and a glass front door, with a big glass panel. So when you knocked on the door at 2 a.m, first of all, you did a bit of activity upstairs, and then the dog would hit the glass pane, paws first.
Terrifying.
I know. But the guy was he was a complete spaceman, and he would say, thing is, I just can't sleep if I don't have MTV on. I can't get to sleep without. So that I said, well, can you have it on a bit quiet? And he goes, oh yeah, man, that's all too. But I was probably knocked on his door once a week for
Yeah.
that conversation. Dog against glass pane.
Well, I'm taking you and Alan round later.
Just take Alan.
Oh, no. Oh, never mind. I left Rammstein playing all day very loudly. Never mind.
You didn't really, did you?
No, but I'd
good.
like to. So, hey, Frank, did you have a Rammstein story?
Yes, I was walking
Bookmarking today.
down
Yeah.
the high street. No, I was driving. I was being driven in our tour party. Me, Pierre, and Omar were going along.
3 men in a boat.
Yeah, the M1. Well, 3 men in a Merc, and there was a white van ahead of us on the motorway. It's Friday, so traffic was sluggish. And I said, look at their symbol on the van. Looks like the Rammstein symbol.
Should we explain who
What's the
Rammstein
Rammstein?
are?
They're a German band.
Oh.
They did We All Live in America.
Oh, yeah.
America. And when we...
I don't know their symbol, though. But,
And Pierre said to me, hold on, but it's got Rammstein written on the bottom. And they've got a particular font they use, a sort of a
Right.
gothic type.
It's the goth energy drink font, I call it.
Exactly. It's it's a bit like it's got all those sort of like Norse, I don't know, whatever the thing, all that stuff in Wagner, all those German
Yes.
legends.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's very Ring.
And so it was a white van with the Rammstein. I mean, and I don't mean professionally done, and the Rammstein thing on the bottom, the name. And it was just some old guy in glasses driving this van, and I just no idea what was going on with that.
You don't think they were in there?
No, because it was it was like a transit. Rammstein don't travel in a transit.
Well, what if it was the Rammstein father? I mean, you should have said hello to him and see if he said "Guten Morgen."
Yeah, if anyone else has seen the Rammstein white van on the motorway, do let me. I'd love to get to the bottom of it. He might just be a big fan, but he's really had it done.
I mean, on a show that
money.
Alan Cochrane had a question.
That has a lot of obscure textings. That is one of the most obscure.
I'd love to know. Believe me, I'd love to get to the bottom of the Rammstein white van man, but with like the Rammstein symbol and name on the back.
I have a question. The white van man,
yeah.
I mean, did he look very British? Do you know what I mean? Did he look like a sort of... How would you describe him?
I would say he looked like he'd been driving for almost 3 months. Yeah, that kind of tired, hair sort of all over the... But he was old, probably older than me. I know he shouldn't be driving. You're right.
Prince Philip.
Yeah, I'd really love... Oh, please help me with this, guys. Come on.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Might have a bit of an answer for you for the jobs worth that.
I thought that was going to be the Rammstein. I thought that was going to be Rammstein.
No Rammstein.
Oh yeah,
yet.
This is the guy in Cologne. Okay.
So you were crossing the road in Cologne at like 7 a.m. and didn't use the Green Man system.
Well, I crossed the Green Man thing, but I didn't wait for the Green Man.
And then got called back by...
Because he felt there was no need.
By Die Polizei.
Yeah, is that German for the long arm of the law?
I believe to cross outside of that is verboten.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, 457 has said, Frank, the German view is, quote marks, for die Kinder. There may have been a child watching and you were setting a bad example.
There was no one anywhere apart from me and the policeman.
Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what 457 has reported as being perhaps
what are we going to do? Hug the messenger? I mean, that's not how it works.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Melinda Messenger.
Legend.
Where is she now? Where is she now?
Oh, I read about her recently.
Oh, yeah.
I'll remember what it was. Presently.
And did it say her current what she's doing? I'm guessing she's doing
she pops up on Loose Women, I believe.
I imagine she's like could do fitness videos or something of that nature.
I don't know if they still do the fitness videos.
Have they gone?
They've gone.
I don't know if they still do videos,
Someone
darling.
sent me one really big muscular man on the cover. Tony something?
Hadley.
I don't think.
He's one of ours, actually. He's in our stable.
Somebody called Little or Small.
Sid Little?
Yeah,
Work out with Sid Little.
That seems wrong, doesn't it? Though little and large could represent, the before and after of the bodybuilding.
Sorry, it's Little or Small? Who's this? Sid Little and Biggie Smalls, and he's no longer with us,
who's
sadly.
Mr. Superfit?
Biggie Smalls.
Joe Wicks.
Also, I don't know.
It could be Joe Wicks. Yeah,
Could it be him? I know it's not Little or Small.
Does he mean Swash?
No, but
he means Swash.
Maybe Swash is a different guy.
No.
Hey, we've had some advice for you, Emily.
Know. Oh, yeah. Go on.
616 has texted, Hi Emily, I had a recent problem with a new neighbour playing house and garage music every weekend and evening. I like them. I filled in an online form on my local council's website. They wrote to my neighbour, keeping my details private, and it has solved the problem. Hope it helps, as I know how distressing this is.
Oh, thank you, Alison.
That's from Alison.
I better stop playing that house and garage music every weekend, though.
Well, speaking of distressing, when she said playing garage music, it reminded me of one of the jokes I did on my disastrous hosting the Brits night, which was, all right,
settle round, everyone.
Okay, I've had no sleep. Cannot hear about this on 8 hours, let alone on 0.
And what I did was I said, right, and now time for some UK garage music, and then I sang "You Can't Get Quicker Than a Quick Foot Potato." Nothing.
I feel like absolutely ill.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
338.
Oh, yes.
Hey guys, love the show, but please, can you try to pronounce Rammstein correctly? It's killing me to hear Rammstein.
Okay.
Oh, then I'm
Yeah.
going to do it even more. 338 soz.
Well, what's he saying?
868 is-
Rammstein. Is
Rammstein.
868 has made the same point, but with somewhat more detail. I was listening to your discussion about Rammstein with interest, as it's my sister's favourite band. Every time you said Rammstein, I corrected you with Rammstein. That made for a lot of corrections. Please use the correct pronunciation. That's from Kate in North Shields. Still no news about the Rammstein van.
No.
Rammstein.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
we
not
need.
going to do it on purpose.
You know what
just
I
to
need?
troll.
I need an explanation. That's why.
Oh, lovely.
That's what I
Very
need.
good.
Well, Frank, did you give a shout out to the person who gave you that little pint of milk this morning?
No, it wasn't a pint. I tell you what.
I do apologise. What
I
was
was talking about the M&S miniature goods
it?
collection,
And
in
we
which you can get thing like you can get a prawn sandwich in miniature, and you keep it in a small, like a bookcase. I suppose it's like a shelf.
so it's sort of like doll's house food, which is what I used
yeah.
to eat. Those are the portion sizes when I worked in fashion.
And for anyone who's got a doll's house and they've lost that roast chicken,
Perfect.
half a walnut. It's a
Very
great
good.
substitute. So
Boz is collecting them.
Boz is collecting them, and he was only one short, and that was the
milk.
washing up liquid.
Oh, right.
And then I got I got a missive today from Mei Lee Chong from Surbiton to Boz and Frank. Hope you haven't received too many of these, but nothing better than the full set feeling. And then it's and she he or she. Sorry, it's not clear. Forgive my lack of.
Can I just say, could we
knowledge.
please start adopting one washing up liquid bottle short of a collection?
Yes.
I'm going to
But
say.
anyway, so now he's got the set, which is tremendous. I'm so very happy with that. Thank you so much. P.S. I don't quite get. Won't mention the free plastic toy hoo-ha. Have I missed something there?
Over to Alan in our studio in Luxembourg.
I think it might have been an environmental thing that they were giving away plastic toys and people were like, don't do that.
Oh, okay.
Climate emergency. You know, all that stuff.
No, you're right, Al. That's what's happened.
Okay.
That is the voice that they use.
Yeah,
I think.
I promise. Well, I doubt he'll dispose of it in the near future, but we won't. We live nowhere near the ocean. I'll try and keep it as far away. Look, we are so no plastic in our
I like
house.
the fact that they thought you'd be inundated with these.
Yes. No, but
No, someone on Twitter was. I mean, they were showing off their collection. No, they said, I've got the full set.
Mm-hmm.
No offer. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. Ian Winwood has been in touch. Hello, all. I'm off to St. Petersburg next week to interview Till Lindemann, the singer of,
Rammstein.
who has a solo album coming out. I'm going to ask if he drives a white van. Settle listening once
No,
and
it
for
wasn't
all.
him. It definitely wasn't him. But if
What if
he
it's a-
knows why an old man drives a Rammstein branded van
What if
up and
it's
down the M1 on a Friday night?
Per Lindemann.
Oh, you think? It could be Opa Lindemann.
Couldn't they have just changed their appearance like when Michael Stipe grew that massive grey beard and looked like a completely different
Yeah,
human?
but this would be 8 hours in the makeup. This would be Dustin Hoffman as the 1,000-year-old man. I mean, it'd be really... And why? To drive a van up and down? Yeah, how eccentric they are, these rock stars. Oh, I shall I'm going to search for this information. I wish if the traffic was slow enough, I could have stopped and said, Guten Abend! Guten Abend, my friend! But I didn't think.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
Have we heard from the outside
Yeah,
world?
we've just got 3 spams in our holding bay.
Have we?
Well, you speak for yourself.
We've had a Melinda Messenger update.
Oh, yeah?
She's going to be in the new Theatre Royal Lincoln's production of Robin Hood this Christmas.
Maid
Panther.
Marian, I'm guessing.
I'm guessing they don't get into sort of the cast.
No. I can't think of another female character in
In what, sorry?
Robin
Robin
Hood.
Hood.
Other than Maid Marian,
Yeah.
I don't think there is
Because
one.
it's Robin Hood and his merry
Riding
men.
through the glen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in Nottingham last night. Of course, it's can't help thinking of Robin Hood when it says "Welcome to Robin Hood country,"
Yes.
which took me back to being in Whitby last week, and people asking about where is Dracula's grave. They must ask where Robin Hood is buried.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think.
yes.
Oh, certainly. So listen ye here.
Right, Geoffrey Chaucer.
I was. I'm on the road at the moment, and I was at a hotel. A thing I've started doing at hotels is having for breakfast, because there's a choice of cereals. I double up on the cereals.
Two in the same bowl.
I have cornflakes,
Oh, yeah.
and then on top of it, in the centre, I put one Weetabix. And I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like a magic eye drawing without needing to do that thing where you let your focus fade. It's very attractive to look at.
Always with the eccentricity, you. If I was having that, I would definitely go Weetabix covered by cornflakes.
Anyway, so I'm sitting eating my breakfast alone. The others haven't calmed down.
Depressing, March.
And I love hotel breakfast.
Do you?
Some people have them in the room, but I
Yeah.
love to watch the people at the hotel breakfast. The amount of awkwardness people
lot of
experience
awkwardness.
just walking up to the food thing and back.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
most self-conscious walk of all time.
There's often a newbie that doesn't know how one of those toasters that rotates
Oh,
works.
yeah, exactly. They don't.
Jamming it in and making
they-
a right mess of it.
And the people who absolutely
The old pros.
pigs, absolute
Oh, yeah,
pigs
yeah, yeah.
who pile up there.
Well, can I say something else you find is when you have a dog, some hotel restaurants will, there's an area where you can sit, and I experienced it myself only recently. Sometimes guests will come over and proffer a sausage for the
Oh,
dog.
Really?
No questions asked. They just give you the sausage. I don't want your sausage.
They give you the sausage.
Yeah,
or
to
do
give
they,
to the dog.
They don't give it directly to the dog.
Well, I
No.
couldn't do that. My dog's too timid, and also I'd have to ask about the calibre of the sausages because she's gluten-free.
If you had a sausage dog, do you think that would change? Would they be worried about the
It'd be
doubling
really
up aspect?
Gross, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be
Cannibalistic.
like repeating
Immoral.
the same word in too close together in a piece of prose.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway,
We need a copy editor on this.
you
Anyway.
were watching the self-conscious folk, which, can I just say,
Yeah.
is a fabulous observation. It is
Oh,
so
it's-
true. They tread so gingerly, guys.
Oh man, you can tell. It's as if they feel they're being watched on some microscopic camera that's studying their every. I don't care how they walk up.
I do.
Well, I do.
It's human beings at their most vulnerable.
Anyway, there was two members of staff behind the counter, and I wasn't sure whether other people could see them where they were standing. And it was this bloke and this woman talking. They were sort of, I don't know what, but they're East European would be my guess from their accent. And suddenly they snogged with tremendous enthusiasm. I mean, absolute clamping on mouth thing.
Ow. Ah.
On company time.
I know, and these are people who are preparing food.
It's a health and safety nightmare, this.
And I was sitting, and while they were, and they were really, their arms were all over each other.
What were they wearing? Were they wearing tabards?
Well, it was a risk because of the static electricity in their uniform.
Were they wearing tabards?
They were wearing, these sort of a bit slightly pub landlord jackets. And they were, and then the bloke who was still clamped on this woman, I saw his eyes pick me out. So he looked past her ponytail to me watching them, and I felt like I was some sort of, peeping Tom. I was having my breakfast in a hotel. I mean, why am I the bad guy now? And I mean, you can't. If you say get a room to people in a hotel, it's kind of like a weird, a stranger feeling. But this guy, they stopped. But the guy really looked at me like, "How dare you? How dare you see us snogging?" That's really shocked me.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Really feel sorry for you, Frank, with your breakfast debacle.
Well, it was an uneasy. Seeing people snogging is always a bit weird, but I just don't expect it when people are working. They're being paid. I
don't like the unprofessionalism of it. They should be
exactly
tidying up dirty plates. Or
I did, and the accusing look at that old guy spying on us.
You don't know they were thinking that.
If you'd seen his face, it was really like, "Girl, you get off us." You know, in the Lovely Bones, when he's looking, and he stumbles across a couple in a cornfield, and the guy goes mad and beats him up because he thinks he's a sort of some terrible peeping Tom guy. It was with that. We're very close to that.
Right. I mean, it's probably a good thing you didn't shout "get a room" in case they said, "Well, we're full, sir." Weekend. You should have known that.
Also, you don't want to shout "get a room" with Brexit being the way it is at East European metaphor. I was suggesting that get a room.
Get your own room.
Yeah, exactly. I would have felt bad if that had been misunderstood in any way.
Did it make you think twice about having a hot breakfast after your cereal in case things escalated behind the counter where they were?
I think I went and got some mushrooms.
Don't want to watch a full show, do you?
I went and got some mushrooms on toast
yourself?
after that. Because I thought if there's going to be a fight, I better build my strength. Like Mickey, was he called Mickey? Mickey Rourke in Barfly, when he's got a big fight and he breaks in and eats the contents of someone's fridge in anticipation of the big boss stop. It's kind of like that.
I've got to be honest, I always prefer eating in the room.
Do you?
I really, sometimes they say, breakfast is included, and I think, I know, but I can afford a breakfast, and I would really rather. I love the tradition of the tray. I feel like Princess Margaret. There's a decadence about it with the orange juice. I just don't like that vulnerability that you speak of. I find it quite upsetting. Seeing people.
Oh no, I love it.
Do you?
I could watch vulnerability and awkwardness till the cows come home.
It's the clinking of cutlery unsettles me.
Now all that is great, and the great ceremony of having to wait to be seated, and then they check your room thing and all that. And I'll tell you what I always do when they ask me my room number, even though I often know it. I'll look at my key card in front of them, so they're absolutely clear that I'm legitimate. I haven't just come in to watch the staff make love. That's where I am now.
Do you think also there is a lot of judgment in that area? I find a communal dining area, serve yourself. I do, some people do pile the plates high.
And if they bring you the hot meal thing, so you can order the extra stuff that you have to pay for. I always say no, I'll go with a buffet. There's always a sense of, of course you will. You know that.
Can I tell you?
I would judge you for that.
A very brief story of a thing I saw last week. Last week I was away. I went to a kettlebell instructional course. I did 3 days of kettlebells with them.
What tunes can you play?
It's an exercise. Very good.
Yeah.
It's an exercise thing.
It looks a bit like a Cyberman's head, doesn't it?
It's got very like that.
Yeah.
Well, look, it looks like a kettle that you can't get any water in.
Yes. Lots of people
That's why
there.
they call kettlebells.
Well, I may be wrong, but is that
I'm
right?
guessing so. I don't really know.
A sealed kettle.
It's an old Russian market thing that they used to use to weigh the produce. But anyway, I was at this thing largely populated by professional fitness people, and
You surprised me.
on one day at the canteen, a guy walked past me with his breakfast, and I thought, that's weird. That looked like a bed of rice on his plate, and he had like a plate so full of scrambled egg, I thought the scrambled egg was a bed of rice.
Wow.
And then I looked again, and what was on top of his bed of 3 poached eggs. So he had scrambled eggs
Egg on egg.
with 3 single poached eggs on top.
Wow. Egg
Legend.
on egg, yeah.
Egg
I
on
think
egg.
used to edit
Legend
the
alert.
Good Food Guide.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I'd like to read you an email that just might might change our opinion on the power that we wield here at Absolute
Okay.
Towers.
I think I know the one you're going to read out. I'll
We're
over to
changing
you.
lives. I bet you don't, actually. Hi, Frank and team. I finished listening to a podcast of your show where you talk of visiting the Lewis Chessman in Edinburgh. This fired my interest in the subject, and I was amazed to see that they are featured in the book and radio series A History of the World in 100 Objects, which even features a contribution from Martin Amis.
What?
It just
Wait.
goes to show the routes this show can take you down. P.S. Did you ever listen to Black Country Night Out comedy records?
Well, 2 items here.
Regional news programme.
First of all, I do like the idea that I don't know. I like to think that the programme is a sort of intellectual and popular culture-based advent calendar. So
This
you
show.
open one door, and who knows what will be behind it. And I think it's good to follow those sort of wormholes.
Yes.
I do, although I think the days behind me being behind 25 are long gone.
Well, come now.
Thank you.
The Black Country Night Out they refer to, I think that they had local comedians like Tommy Munden and stuff like that. And the popular Black Country, I should say, in case you don't know, is an area of the West Midlands named so because of the Industrial Revolution, where it was a key element. The houses became covered in soot from all the industry, and so it was like living in like a black town.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there was a double act with a very popular Black Country act called Enoch and Eli, which would
Yeah.
be Enoch and Eli in normal, and they would tell stories.
No.
So he'd say, all right, Enoch, you're still keeping bees. And he says, I took them for a walk this morning. I put them on cotton. I tied cotton on the legs. Oh, do you? And I took them down the park, but I couldn't get in because the gates was locked. And it goes on like this in a perambulating but interesting fashion.
Just to ask you a question about Enoch and Eli.
Enoch and Eli.
Oh, I do apologise.
I just want you to hear you say it.
Enoch and Eli.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my question essentially. Was it just due to sort of a mispronunciation, or is that what were their birth names?
So it would be Enoch and Eli, but everyone would call them Enoch and Eli. I remember a friend. There was a bloke called Tommy Jones, not the Pontypridd crooner.
Oh, I was thinking of Tommy Lee Jones.
And I remember a bloke in the pub saying, "Oh, I've just been down Albury. I bumped into Tommy Jones." So everything got changed a bit. But anyway, so yes, I did occasionally listen to those Black Country Nights Out.
Well,
But,
that was Jack. That missive.
Oh, it said with a tone there, like
No.
I was anticipating a surname.
I just felt
You've got to
like
get,
I'd left a loose end.
It's like the football results. You've got to follow that through. So there you are. We've answered that.
We've got. Oh, I think I don't know.
I think no, the
Oh yeah.
The hat,
producer
the
is
fez,
actually pinching that fleshy bit underneath my armpit, saying we have
the
to
fez
move on.
tassel is dangling into my very nostril.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but it's been a very difficult week.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Now, I went to the barber's this week to get a haircut.
Fresh trim. That's what the kids say.
Do
I
they?
think they say fresh trim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or fresh cut. I mean, it's all the same words, really, and it's just coming back in.
Yeah, you know, well, whatever happened, I got a haircut. And I went in there, and the guy... I've been going in there for, I would say, 2 years. They've never at any time acknowledged that I have any sort of public face of any kind.
All right.
And so I just thought, well, you
Perfect.
know, they're Turkish guys. They might not know who I am, and they don't. Anyway, so I was getting my hair cut, and the guy said, I say, what you're working on at the moment and all that. And it became, it became apparent anyway from what he said that he had recognised me and very, very diplomatically not brought it up before,
Right.
what we, everything. And,
What does he mean? Everything, Al.
Anyway.
Everything.
So he said to me something about, if you, I can't remember who it cropped up, but Brexit cropped up as a topic.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, but it wasn't divisive at all. We were just talking about it in general, interest in something big happens every day as a news story.
Yes,
Big-
yes.
And then he said, we'll miss it, won't we, when it goes? I said, I think we will. I said, I've often thought I'll miss it on the news. And he said, yeah. He said, it's like, I feel like we've, it's like we've brought it up. It's been around. We were there when it first appeared, and we've nurtured it.
Mm-hmm.
We've given it a lot of attention, lavished attention, and now it's just gonna go and leave us, and that'll be the end. He said, I don't suppose it'll be the end. He says, I suppose it'll still come back with its dirty washing. And maybe bringing back some people, male or female, who we don't really approve of, but that's who they're hanging around with now.
Oh, he went full on.
And he did a complete conceit on Brexit, and I thought this is like a stand-up show. It's brilliant work on the personification of Brexit and how we've nurtured it, and then it'll leave us, and etc. etc.
I like this guy.
And it did make me think, I thought, I should ask the always impressive listeners on the radio show, what's the best thing that a barber or a hairdresser has ever said to them? Because they're chatty.
I don't think mine's appropriate. Well, this
Obviously,
radio.
we don't.
Some of it's unbroadcastable.
It was in Monte Carlo.
Yes, so I'd love to know what those are, because I must have told you about the time that, in fact, I think I put it in my stand-up act, that a woman said to me, having finished, almost finished my hair, this was at Mr. Topper, it was the £9 haircut, and she said to me, all it needs now is a bit of a zhuzh, and it's done. And I said, zhuzh ye not, for as ye zhuzh, so shall ye be zhuzhed. And got nothing. I mean, nothing from her. Didn't even say what you mean, and it just moved on.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We've had interesting. This is another of your obscure textings. Interesting things that hairdressers have said to you over the years.
Or barbers. My barber is very
Good
keen
point.
to say. He said, we're the only barber in this area. And I said, well, there's one in this road. And he said, nah, that's a hairdresser.
Oh, he
Excellent.
wants to
Yeah.
be clear. He's
I like
Turkish,
that.
is he?
Yeah, but he said we do shaves and stuff
I
like
hope,
that.
I hope you thank him in Turkish.
I don't know how to do that.
I do.
Okay.
Teşekkür ederim. Can you
Okay.
repeat that?
Tishkia denim. Is that like a Levi's stonewash or something?
Ooh, Derham. Yeah.
Come on. We've had
Teshkia Derham.
a lovely,
Okay.
lovely
I'll
Frank.
try. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it'll stick. It's a
I
risk.
don't really
It's a
like
risk if someone's carrying an open razor.
I don't really like being talked to by the hairdressers. I like it if apparently one of the oldest jokes.
Things that don't surprise me. Number 371.
Apparently one of
Take hairdressers out of that statement.
yeah, true. Apparently one of the oldest jokes, I don't know where they found this, but is of somebody going to the hairdressers and them saying, how would you like your haircut, sir? And him saying, in silence. And I'm pretty sure that Rudy Liquid, who's a comic, still does that on the comedy circuit. Anyway, 003 has texted.
Oh, he hasn't done enough kills yet.
He's not. I don't know if he's licensed. Are you always licensed if you're a 00? Is that the idea?
No, I think he's not licensed
Not
quite
licensed,
yet.
he's
He's
a license pending.
I would call it. He's on his provisional.
Yes.
Oh, he's got a provisional.
He's got a prov.
Anyway, he sent a good text in. Frank, Alan and Emily. A barber once said to me, if you think you've been a good person all your life, but when you die you're sent to hell, who do you complain to? Gaz, Manchester.
It's a good question.
I'd like a trim and a pervading sense of existential gloom for the rest of the day, please.
And also, I mean, you can't raise it with the Diablo.
Well, maybe you could. You know the old. Excuse me. I think you'll find I shouldn't be here. You know those
Sorry, I think
kind.
there's been a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Upstairs, a Rooney.
Yeah.
I think it would be like not getting into the VIP area.
Well, there's a thing. The closest thing that's ever happened to me to just being in an old joke, and people.
Careful.
Probably think I've made this up, but it happened exactly like this. I went to have my hair cut, and the guy said to me, "How do you want it cut?" And I said, "Sort of kind of like yours, actually. I'll have whatever you have." And he says, "Well, I have number 2 all over." And I said, "I'm sorry to hear that." No, and I said,
Bad split, wasn't it?
I said I thought it was the drains. No, I said. He said, I said, okay, fine. So then he did my hair, and it was really super short. I mean, like a skinhead cut. And I said, what do you want? This isn't what you... And he said, oh, mine's grown out quite a bit. And it was a real thing, and it feels like a joke. But I remember being so embarrassed. I'd never had it that short before, and I didn't have a single head scar. I felt like I hadn't lived.
You were no skinhead escapes.
No, I just had not lived.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram. Follow at Frank on the Radio. Or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about things hairdressers have said. Well, specifically, it's things that...
But they've said to you that your barber or hairdresser, there is stuck in your mind. The best thing ever.
We've had some great tweets.
Oh,
I'll be honest, I'm surprised that it's such a fertile texting, but well done, Frank.
thank you very much.
Michael said his hairdresser said to him, "I'll be honest with you, that's not my best work.
Wow.
You can have it half price."
Where is that?
Well, this
You know,
he's
I've always,
so gonna go
always
there.
got one eye on how much I'm spending.
Did I read out who that was from?
No.
By the way?
Michael.
Oh, I did.
Oh, Michael.
Oh, yes, thank you. Oh, yes, that was
This
Michael.
haircut I had the other day, at the end of it, the barber said, "Do you want any product or anything on it?" I said, "No." I said, "I actually did a texting on my radio show of me with and without product." And the audience said, "I look better without." I haven't used it since. I took it absolutely as gospel.
That's a
Leslie
good idea.
Candlin.
Hold it.
Oh, I do apologise, Frank. I didn't realise you were mid.
So he said to me, a good haircut doesn't need product. That's what I always say. I said, that's it. He said, however, this one, I wouldn't mind putting a bit on it.
He's funny. He's got his long Brexit analogy.
And his one-liners.
He's got his banter.
I love him.
Good stuff.
Emily.
Sorry, Frank.
okay.
Leslie Candlin, right, let's sort this mess out while standing next to her colleague who caused this mess a few weeks earlier. Lee?
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, we've had all sorts.
942 has sent one that I liked.
Yeah.
Hi, Frank et al. My barber heard Yellow by Coldplay on the radio and said to me, "I love this song. I used to love Coldplay, but now this is their only song that doesn't remind me of my ex." I pointed out that the fact he's aware that it doesn't remind him of his ex means that it does in fact remind him of his ex. He cut the rest of my hair in silence. Bliss.
Oh dear.
We have a couple more that I would like to share. I mean, I don't want this to be the entire show, but these are too good to waste. The Doggy Network.
I did ask.
Okay. The Doggy Network. Last visit, the colour in my hair had grown out more than I realised. She showed me from every angle. I said, "Oh, I didn't realise it was that bad." Her reply, "Yeah, it is that bad, and most people would have noticed." I mean, why add the cruel...
They've become, hairdressers and barbers have become like the fool in King Lear. The speaker of... Uncle, most people would have noticed. They've become like the voice of truth against power.
There's finally Mr. Flowers... said a friend of his says is it vitiligo it's pronounced on his elbows, knees and around the eyes, And he was at Vidal Sassoon around the late 80s, and the hairdresser said, I love the way you do your eye makeup. And his friend said, actually, that's my skin disease.
Oh, no. Did I tell you I was going out with someone and she used to get her hair cut by Nikki Clark.
Oh, yeah.
And she went to his salon. We'd split up. And she was having a hair cut by one of his colleagues. And Nikki Clark walked in and said to her, "Oh, how's Frank?" And she burst into tears. So we'd split up. And he went, really sort of awkward and didn't know what to do. So he dashed out and dashed back in with a glass of champagne. How Nikki Clark deals with sadness.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So I would like to share a haircut, Al, finally from Ian Walker. Well, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Not Ian Walker. That was the curtains, wasn't it?
Chin
The old
length
Tottenham,
bob.
old
That
Tottenham
was, yeah.
goalkeeper.
Married to...
Susie Walker. Hiya.
She had a short-lived chat show called...
Hiya.
I missed the rehearsal for this week's show.
To be fair, we spent 22 years working on it.
Yeah, it was actually called Hiya.
Hiya.
It's Susie
Yeah.
Walker, I think.
And when she said hiya, she peered around a
Yeah.
curtain, I believe.
Well, I seem to remember her doing it in other contexts.
But let's not fall
I thought
out.
there was one when she's just coming out from behind a letterbox and she goes, Hiya. Yeah.
Not from a goal mouth. Ian Walker... I did once have my hair cut by a wig maker for about £2.50, which seemed cheap. They thought I knew. They did it because they could see I was desperate. And I thought they were a genuine hairdresser. It was a horrible mess. I wouldn't go to a wig maker.
I wonder if they kept the hair.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, I think a wig maker is somewhat incentivised to do a terrible haircut for a person, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, so then they go, yeah,
Wow,
do you want to
you're
buy a wig?
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, we used to go, when I was younger, my mum would make us go to, but we had to go to the hairdresser that she went to, which was Vidal Sassoon, and they didn't like doing children. And people were smoking, and there was a lot of alcohol. And the man we had, Italian man, would say the children. Every time we walked in, he didn't like us. But I do remember one hairdresser was cutting my hair and was talking to my mum about her love problems, and I looked awful. I mean, it really, she'd taken it. It looked awful. And she said, "Oh, it looks okay. You look a bit like Juliette Bravo." Now, I don't know if anyone knows who that is.
Yes, she was very... Is it Jill Gascoigne who played
No,
her?
Juliette Bravo, I can't remember the actress's name, but it's a policewoman.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that a 9-year-old should really look like a policewoman.
Was it Gabrielle
It's a
Drake?
good rule of thumb, that.
Gabrielle Drake?
No.
Okay.
And a cataract or something.
Oh.
Anyway, we'll get back to you about that.
She had a
My pen.
cataract. I don't remember. Can you be in the police if you got a cataract? I'm sure you can.
8, 12, 15. This is the
I don't know
stuff
if it's up there with the height restrictions. So I tell you what I did this week. I went to the cinema.
Oh, yeah.
And I did something I haven't done for years. I watched 2 or 3 sections of the film through the spaces between my fingers. You know, that
Why?
literally... 'cause
Oh.
it was sort of...
Scared?
Yeah.
You're very easily spooked.
It was called the
Dora the Explorer.
No, it was called
Swallows and Amazons.
it was called The Aeronauts.
Oh, okay.
Do you know it?
No.
It's Eddie Redmayne and the woman from Rogue One.
Oh.
What's
Oh,
she
yes,
called?
I know who you
Very,
mean,
she
yeah.
was. I mean, she's very good. I feel
Daisy? Is it a Daisy, perhaps?
I think
Ridley?
it's something Jones. Felicity Jones.
Oh, lovely, yes.
Marvellous. Anyway, yeah, there were sections in that bit. They're in this hot air balloon, the highest one has ever been. When I can't remember you ever remember watching a film like that? It was so harrowing.
No.
It and I mean, I'm getting on. It's not like I'm some sort of child. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention it. I
What?
feel it's
So there were
gone
scary
down,
bits?
It's gone down like a lead.
No, like the balloon.
Of the,
Gone down like the hot air balloon.
Yeah.
Well, So is it? Well, I don't want a total spoiler alert because I might see it. Never going to see it. I would never see a film with anything called Aeronauts, to be honest.
Really? Well,
it sounds a bit like there's going to be machines in it. And
well, there is,
like
but there's a lot of sort of cyberpunk lot, but there's a lot of human interaction as well. No, Dave.
Email has just come in. Robin Hood's final resting place is Huddersfield on the Kirklees Park estate. And then they add God's Own County, but I'm not convinced. But anyway.
Isn't that your manor, darling?
It is, yeah.
That's where they bury the fictional nowadays.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've not done many emails that are just there in email corner for a little while. I wondered if you'd be, I don't know, are you interested in the jingle,
how
Frank?
How are you feeling about
how
jingly
the jingle?
are you
Can I ask you one question before we do this? Because something cropped up. You know, I occasionally spot sort of puns and that which I had previously missed. You may have, for some time, I wondered if Mary J. Blige was a pun on Much Obliged.
I do remember that, yeah. I thought it was perhaps overreach, but yeah.
I think that one I may have. Yes, I may have had ideas about my punning station. But recently I asked about Free Willy, if that was a pun on free will.
Yes.
And, because it escapes, I think, so it's about free will, it's about making our own decisions in life, not living in an aquatic park situation.
Right.
I was... when I was recently in Hull Minster, the big church in Hull...
Pretty rock and roll tour that Frank is on.
Yeah, well, I was talking to a guy who worked there about what it's like working there and the staff and the bell ringers and all that. And he said you could write a sitcom about this place. I think people say stuff like that.
Yeah.
You could write a sitcom about this place. And I said yes, I'd call it Yes Minster.
Ah.
Okay.
Which is a reasonable joke in the situation.
It's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't in professional context. Not that I feel I have to aim any lower, but I mean, it was a perfectly sharp and quick response.
Yeah.
And then I wondered,
your want.
Is Yes Minster? Now you might have guessed this years ago. This might be a Big Mo thing for me.
Okay.
Is Yes Minister a pun on Westminster?
Ooh. Oh.
Is that what he's referring to?
Question.
Because Yes Minister, I know he says it a lot, Sir Humphrey, Yes Minister.
Yeah, I thought it was just about
but I wonder,
the agreeableness.
I thought it was subservient
It
and
is.
a bit, yes ma'am, yes sir.
But it's not a title you'd naturally arrive at. I wonder if it is because it's set in Westminster. Yes Minister, Westminster. Anyway, if anyone knows.
Al, what do you think? Because I'm going to go... hard no.
Oh, hard no.
On that one.
Okay.
It might be another example of overreach on.
I'm
on
not
the
sure about
punner's
Mary J.
behalf.
Blige. I hold up my hand.
Oh, where do you stand? I mean, if we're going to compare Mary J. Blige and Much Obliged, which I believe is one of the catchphrases of Derek Acora.
Well, no, but
Much
it's like...
obliged.
It's
Yeah,
like
he says to the spirit world,
No,
he
but
says
it's
very much obliged.
It is an old term used to end letters and stuff. And as Mary J. Blige says a thank you to her fans, her whole name was a thank
Yes,
you.
Minister.
To her fans.
Actually, maybe I've been too hard on him for Yes, Minister. What
If
do you
anyone
think, Al?
knows about the etymology of Yes Minister, do let us know. Anyway, sorry, would you like me to play the email corner jingle? I have to jump in quickly on this.
If you've got him.
Timing is everything in this business, as you know. Email. That was the email corner jingle. But I think that Lindisfarne singing that. Lindisfarne, of course, the home of the Venerable Bede, whose tomb I visited in Durham Cathedral very recently.
You're listening to Radio 4.
What is a bead? Did we ask this before? Yes, you did. I've forgotten. I'm
That's his
afraid.
name, Bede.
What do you mean?
That's his name.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
Alan?
Dear Frank and the gang, first-time writer, long-time reader. I was intrigued by Frank's comments the other week about West Brom's Boilerman mascot.
Ah, yes.
claiming that he had sold out somewhat by donning an approximation of the striped WBA, West Bromwich Albion, kit, instead of opting for the plain white combi look.
Yeah, I should say that the Boiler Man is a sort of legendary mascot that we have at West Brom, and he is just a combi boiler on legs. And I think the point I made, he's like Marcel Duchamp's found art, the urinal, in that I know Marcel Duchamp signs it, but other than that, he just presents it as found.
Yes.
And that was the great thing about Boiler Man. The last match I went to, which I think was the Blackburn Rovers game, he came out with stripes. I'm glad I took a photo of it because, but anyway.
Yes. By chance, I happened to go to the Albion at the weekend as my uncle had a spare ticket. And although not a supporter of West Brom, I would describe them as my championship team, to paraphrase Buzz.
Oh.
Anyway, lo and behold, when I sat in my seat and looked towards the pitch, there was Boilerman, but back in his original plain white attire. The only explanation is that, similar to when Frank improved Andrew Lloyd Webber's curtain call, there must have been a member of WBA's backroom team listening in on the previous podcast who subsequently reverted Boiler's look. Boiler's look.
Yeah, I think we know him well enough to be on the first name term.
Mr. Boiler.
Yeah.
Does he get letters addressed to Mr. B. Man?
I think we ought to come up with a name/feature for when Frank makes one of these improvements. Maybe an ALW, Andrew Lloyd Webber moment. Praise redacted, but a big hand for the police, Rory.
Well, there's so many references to previous things on the show. His man is clearly a regular reader, and thank you for that. That's tremendous news. If I honestly thought I'd reverted the unhappy trend of making Boilerman more apposite, then I would be proud.
I'm calling these the FA, which is the Frank Amends.
Okay.
Okay, every time we get these.
Yeah.
Okay.
Working
Well, I
title.
don't know if there'll be that many, but
There won't be. You go. I've told you. You cannot resist giving people money.
So
Wheels
far,
great
I've
power.
I might have changed an EFL mascot and a West End musical. I mean, it's not a bad old life, is it?
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
We're still in the corner.
Oh yeah, we're still in the corner.
Yes, we have an email through from Andrew Hunter.
Okay.
Okay, long-time reader, first-time contact. Morning, Andrew. Following on from the museum animatronic feed from last week, does anyone want to recap on that? I don't believe...
I think Frank was asking what's your favourite animatronic in one of his more mainstream textings.
If we write back to Alan Hunter, will we begin? Andrew Hunter, will we begin the thing, Dear Hunter? Down, down.
That took me ages to get. I'm a bit embarrassed.
Dear A. Hunter.
Da-da-da.
Well, he must get that a lot, the gladiator.
So what was the huntsman?
says-
What was the huntsman saying?
Snow White, the RAF Museum at Hendon has the best mannequins as part of the Battle of Britain exhibition. They are pre-animatronic, but if you look at the plainclothes families as you walk through, they may look a bit familiar. They must have got them on the cheap because they're actually members of the royal family, specifically Prince Charles and Princess Anne. They've
what
been there
figures
as
are
long
they?
as I can remember. It sounds like they're there to represent sort of families, extras, if you will,
Okay.
in this RAF museum at
Okay.
Hendon. But they've obviously not got just general mannequins. They've actually got Prince Charles and Princess Anne specifically as members of the public.
I remember doing a joke on the chat show, which was a man. He did some crime and he'd hurt himself in the process of the crime, and he was unconscious. He was in a coma for like 3 days or something. And when he came round, there was 4 policemen at his bedside. And the joke that we did was he thought he'd died and gone to Hendon. Because Hendon was the police academy at the time.
Yes.
But I didn't know the RAF thing was in there. It's a bit. I wonder where they got those from then.
2 swords.
Because they do close down some of these places.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shame to waste them. I mean, I'm sure Madame Tussauds would deny this.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I
But-
went 2 swords.
But I often think,
Sorry.
do they actually
No, I would
melt?
have gone 2 swords.
Do they always melt the bodies down, or do they think, if we put if you put a head, say
I
if
don't
you
like
got
the way you think Owl knows the answer to that rather disturbing question.
My
you
part-time
asked.
what
job.
I mean is, if you've got, say, David Bowie, and you want to have one of David Beckham, might you not just change the head?
Yeah,
Who's going to notice?
yeah.
You're going to dress it different. It'll be fine. Obviously, there's some that wouldn't work. Daniel Lambert, Britain's fattest man from the 18th century. You couldn't do him with the Beckham, but
No.
No,
And
but with some other modern celebrities, you'd
well,
probably be.
there's less of that now. I
you
think, in the
couldn't
celebrity
swap
world.
with, let's say, Conor McGregor.
No, they'd notice that.
No, but Graham Norton maybe.
The only way they could swap with Conor McGregor if they put in front of us one of those seaside peephole photograph opportunities. And then what's the point? Might as well just do a bust.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We've had a text in, Frank. 275 has submitted this. Dear Alan, Emily and Frank, after hearing about Frank's Rhinestone Cowboy debacle, it got me thinking, do you want to précis what your Rhinestone
I will.
Cowboy
But
debacle?
just in a slight sidebar, if we go from Rhinestone to Rammstein, someone spotted the van, didn't
You're
they?
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, someone spotted it.
Stephen White
Very
emailed,
good.
I saw that van yesterday. I'm not going to pick him up
Yeah,
on the
that's
grammar. I wanted to drive past playing
Yeah,
Bruce
it is.
Springsteen as loud as possible and get him to wind the window down, shoot him a dumb-looking smile while putting the thumbs up like I'd confused the two. But
Springsteen,
unfortunately, it was
Rammstein.
too far away. If you find out who he is, please let him know of this attempted trolling so that he understands what he missed out on.
Stephen from
But I'm just
Solihull.
glad someone else has seen it. Do you know what I mean? It's
I
like when a
guess you'd made it
second,
up.
I know.
like when a second person sees the ghost, you can relax.
Well,
Sorry,
you feel seen now.
I do. And I say he was on the M1 yesterday. Alan.
So we're back to your
Yes.
Rhinestone Cowboy.
I'll tell you what it was.
affair.
In
From
Rhinestone Cowboy,
Rammstein to Rhinestone.
Yeah, in Rhinestone Cowboy, I thought that he always said getting courting letters from people.
Yeah.
And when there's all reasons why that is, it's a really good lyric. And in fact, he says getting cards and letters, which is
Yes.
so the mistake was better than the original. Now
Yeah.
we don't want to do misheard lyrics because
No.
that's right up there with no pressure. But
more humbly, we want to do accidentally improve lyrics.
accidentally improving lyrics. Exactly.
So,
We've had a few, but you have another, I sense, bobbling
yes.
under.
Yes, it got me thinking about Respect by Aretha Franklin. I've always liked Aretha's Respect.
We've had Aretha before in this topic.
we had, in addition to the Rammstein Cowboy, we had I Say a Little Prayer.
And it was when the guy
I run for
thought,
the bus, dear.
Yeah, I run for the bus, dear. And I
Yes.
think of you. And he thought, how amazing, even when dashing for a bus.
Before running, I
Yeah.
think of us, dear.
Yeah.
That's right.
Whereas, in
And-
fact, she's on the bus
Yeah,
when she
before
thinks.
riding. And he thought it was while running, and it was the idea that during this arduous activity, still they were on the mind.
Yes.
Over to you, Alan, in Wisconsin.
I have always liked Aretha's Respect a lot. Hang on. I've always liked Aretha's Respect a lot less since I realised the true lyrics. I used to believe these were R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Take out P-C-E. This would leave the words rest, just as a brief pause in the instrumentation came for in the song, as though Aretha was taking a moment away from her scathing attack to just reference the song she was singing.
Oh.
Rest.
In a beautifully fourth wall breaking meta moment.
Yeah,
Much
like she was saying. And I pause.
Yes.
And I was thinking, oh, lovely.
They say
Take out
much
PCE.
like Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah when he says, well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift.
Yes.
And then they add in brackets, I wonder if there are other songs that do this. Imagine my disappointment when I realised...
Can I say one?
I've got one.
In Greece, there's one where they go C, 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 F A minus. Yeah, exactly.
Would you
I think
also
James
count-
Brown
sorry.
says take it to the bridge, doesn't he?
Yes, and I believe. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, I
Hannah.
think he's. To be fair, he's talking to his doctor at the time.
Anyway, they continue. Imagine my disappointment when I realised Aretha was simply saying "Take care, TCB." The TC stands for taking care, so the first take care is completely redundant. No good, Aretha. Must try harder.
Yes.
No,
Sadly.
take care, TCB. TCB is I assume,
Taking care of business.
Elvis,
Yeah.
obviously. Okay.
This is more. I'm going to have to go and read. I'm going to have to
Yeah,
go
I was-
back over those pages. But yes, okay. So I like the idea of her saying and leaving rest and then having a little rest
Yes.
in the middle. That
Can I
would
just
have been
quickly
great.
say, sorry, love your work, but take care, TCB, not redundant. She's saying take care of business. Two separate sentiments.
Oh, so take care. Like mine. There you go.
Yeah, all
And then-
best.
And then take care of business.
She's signing off all best, take care of business.
Well, she was actually running a business empire at the same time.
Like
as
I
well.
heard a
She was-
woman say goodbye to a friend on the bus once, and she said, "Have a great weekend. Make good decisions."
Wow.
And I thought that's
Adrian Charles always
slightly
says,
menacing from a friend, I would think.
Adrian Charles says, mind how you go.
yeah.
Which sounds a bit threatening.
I've always thought that.
Yeah.
Oh, so look. Speaking of mine, there you go. We're going soon. Sarah Champion is coming next, and let's change it this week.
Around her neck, she wore a yellow ribbon. She wore it in the springtime and in the month of May. Hey, hey.
I'm not guaranteeing she will be wearing a yellow ribbon around her neck, but who knows? If that turns out, I'll be very pleased. Look, thanks for listening. If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.